Harriet Smith is, she begins as an incredibly naive, very sweet and curious young girl, and Emma Woodhouse takes a liking to her. And this excites Harriet like nothing else. It means everything to her. And they very quickly form this friendship. But the friendship is, there's a power dynamic at play that's not very balanced. And Emma Woodhouse decides to basically take control of Harriet's love life. Ultimately, through this experience with Emma Woodhouse, Harriet Smith is able to truly come to an understanding of who it is she is as a woman, so that by the end of the story, she really blossoms and comes into her own, and she finds her voice and she listens to her heart, and ultimately she is very happy. I think it's quite simple at the beginning, and it's through time and through truly getting to know one another and surpassing that initial superficial friendship that she realises that there's a genuine friend in Harriet, and then a real friendship born out of respect and mutual admiration is born. I loved working with Anya. Anya is a dear friend of mine, so the element of being in awe and having admiration for Emma Woodhouse came very easily. I think the world of her. I think she's a wonderful actress, and she's done an incredible job here as Emma Woodhouse. I think Anya has a certain sass to her that's just ingrained in her spirit. She has this Argentine flavour to her that just provides Emma Woodhouse with an extra level of deliciousness that perhaps she wouldn't have gotten from another actress. I wanted to do this movie because I wanted to work with Autumn de Wilde. I think she's extraordinary and such a visionary, and I'd known of her work before, of her photography and her music videos and the shorts that she had done, and I thought that was such an interesting concept to have such contrasting worlds of British culture and rules and social structures of that time, and then to combine that with Autumn de Wilde and her rock and roll texture. I just thought that was so fun and exciting, and then that would be really something that I would want to be a part of. I think it's Autumn de Wilde that makes this version of Emma fresh and vibrant and new and unique and unlike anything else that I've ever seen. It's just got something. It's interesting, and also because she's a female director, and she's an American female director. So I think you're seeing it from a totally different perspective, through a different lens entirely, and we've not seen that before. And as a result, you see these characters such as a Harriet Smith that might have, in other iterations of it, might have been somewhat overlooked in the past. So there's many attributes that she brings to this story that, were she not a part of it, I think they would have missed that opportunity. This is such a hopeful movie, and it's so fun, and you just feel so good watching the film, and you walk away from the theatre just immensely hopeful. Autumn de Wilde has created such a world, and you get swept up in it immediately. The colours are so vibrant and delicious, and the sets are stunning, and from the costumes and the hair and the makeup, it would be a missed opportunity if you didn't get to go to the cinemas to watch that, because it's such a wonderful escape from our world today. It's very funny, and if you want a movie that's going to make you feel good, and it's going to make you laugh, and it's going to make you feel hopeful and optimistic about love, then this is the movie to see. We were actually very lucky to have those 2 weeks of rehearsals, not only because we had the opportunity to really, dive into key scenes, and we had the etiquette trainer and the dialect coach and the movement coach, which was incredible. I've never been on a set where they've given us so many tools at our disposal, but it was also a wonderful time for us to bond and for us to get to really know each other. This is the first period movie that I've ever done, so it was a complete education for me in each arena of these people's lives of that time, and it's been so fascinating getting to learn about that period of time and the etiquette and the social norms of that time. It really helped. As soon as we got to this rehearsal period and we were able to meet all the incredible people behind this, it really helped bring together my understanding of who Harriet Smith should be and how she should move in this world that I was which was very foreign to me. As the story goes by and they're presented with a set of situations, they actually end up bonding very deeply with one another, and they actually end up finding out that they're actually quite similar in many ways, and then a friendship is born. She goes through such a spectrum of emotions and she feels everything on her sleeve, and it's been such a joy to play her. She goes from being this very sweet, naive young girl, and she's quite lost and confused, and she's in love, and she's heartbroken, and then she smart and wise, and then she becomes much wiser, and it's just really run the whole gamut, which I love. Autumn was a big reason why I wanted to be a part of this. Emma has been told a handful of times, but knowing that Autumn was behind this story and that she was going to bring her own distinct style to it, that made it incredibly exciting and fresh and unique and unlike anything I have ever seen before. And then I met her for the first time and we instantly connected. She's just the sweetest person. She's just got a heart of gold. Just really cool. She's like such an awesome person to be around. Like she has like her sense of style and her taste and her eye for detail. You don't come across people like that very often. And so to have that sort of coolness and edginess of Autumn and everything that comes with that, and then to be meshed with Emma and the Jane Austen side of that and all the restraints that are typical of that Regency period, and to have those two worlds coming together, I thought was really cool and exciting. When you look at all the female characters in Emma, I think when it was told through a male lens, they kind of minimize the roles of the other characters in a way, or belittle them and put them in specific pigeonholes that was easy to categorize. But Autumn hasn't done that in any sense of the word, and she's completely embraced each and every single character and given them its own life and their own stories and their own backstories. And as a result of that, everyone from Harriet to Jane Fairfax to Mrs. Bates, they're all like these really multifaceted, complex, juicy characters, and overall it just makes for a much more interesting and a story that you're much more invested in whilst watching. This is the first period film that I've been a part of, and I've always wanted to do one. And one of the main reasons was because I've always been such a fan of the costumes and the hair that is involved in it. And our costume designer, Alexandra Byrne, is absolutely incredible. She is an artist. Her eye for detail and how she's able to compose outfits together is extraordinary. And it's really actually been a huge foundation of my building of Harriet, because we had about 4 costume fittings before we ever stepped into a rehearsal room. So I was really meeting her from like day one. And so we kind of built the character together in many ways. And she was instrumental in my understanding of Harriet and who she is in that world, and how a young girl of that time would carry herself. In many ways, I feel like we've been preparing for this role since we first met, which was like back in 2016, I think. And we instantly connected with one another, and we have been friends since we wrapped that movie, and we really just have a special understanding of one another, and I think the world of her, and I think she's a terrific actress.